Let's do this. Good morning, Rotarians. Thanks for joining us. This club meeting is called to order.
Simon.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Fortuna Sunrise Club meeting. I'm going to go into a screen share and share a couple of slides, get it going, and then I'll bring down the screen, introduce some guests, and we've got our district governor here today too, which will be our program. Here we go. Screen share action happening right now. Okay. So welcome to the Fortuna Sunrise Club meeting for October 14th, 2020. That's volume 16 of my presidential year. We have an amazing Rotary Club, and I am so thankful to be a part of it. All right, and so with us, we have guests and visiting Rotarians. We have our district governor and program today, Doug Johnson. So make some noise or throw up those fingers. And we also have our very distinguished guest, Don Winterholm. Thanks for joining us, Don. All right, and we're back to that screen share. Okay, so typically at this time we'd be doing the flag salute, but since the meeting has moved to virtual, I've been doing a little American history lesson. So did you know on this day, 1947, Chuck Yeager, a World War II fighter pilot ace, became the first person to fly faster than the speed of light, breaking the elusive sound barrier. His X-1 rocket plane was built by the Bell Aircraft Company. The X-1 was taken to an altitude of 25,000 feet by a B-29 bomber and released through the bomb bay to achieve a speed greater than the speed of sound. It was on this day in 1947. Our inspiration.
Can we find our president for having misinformation?
Oh, yes, please. Tell me more.
You just said that you said in there that we went faster than the speed of light.
Oh, sorry. Sound, yeah.
So misleading.
Good call. I think
That deserves a fine.
Definitely $5 to Heckwood for correcting me there. Good job, Heck. Thank you.
Well done,
Maybe I should actually read the notes I have. Inspirational message of the day. Everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love. And we're going to move on to the four-way test. And we're going to call on Rotarian Walt Giacomini this morning. Walt.
Unmuting.
There you go.
Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Well done. Thank you, Walt.
All
right. I'm going to stop the screen share and pass it over to our Assistant Governor, Frank Ramos, who will be introducing our speaker today and our district governor. Frank.
Thanks, Simon. So, good morning, everybody. So, as most of you know, I'm currently the assistant governor for the two Fortuna clubs, Ferndale and Garberville. This is my second year of doing that, and I'm really glad to do it. And one of the fun things I get to do as assistant governor is accompany the district governor on his visits to my 4 assigned clubs. But, you know, this year we're doing things a little differently, but one thing I still get to do is to introduce them. So I'd like to introduce this year's district governor, Doug Johnson from the Rotary Club of Santa Rosa. So Doug is originally from Dedham, Massachusetts, which is a blue-collar neighborhood right next to Boston. And he credits having been brought up in working middle-class America as shaping his character and his value system and believing that people come first. After attending American University in Washington, D.C., life brought Doug to Santa Rosa at the age of 21, where he's lived ever since. And he said that one day during a business meeting back in 2011, somebody asked him if he knew what Rotary was. And I'm guessing the answer was no, because he got invited to a club meeting that he attended. And shortly thereafter, he decided to join the Rotary Club of Santa Rosa, where his extensive Rotary career began. Since Doug joined Rotary, he's served in various capacities, such as World Community Service Chair, Club President, of course, Pet Sergeant at Arms, Zone Institute Guest, Assistant Governor, and now our District Governor for 2020 to 2021. You know, Doug says that he has a lot to be proud of, and especially his 3 adult children who all live locally with his 4 grandchildren. Doug says that for him, family time together grows more meaningful every year. His oldest granddaughter, actually, some of the people on the meeting with the board last night got to see a cameo of her last night, who's now 12, actually got to run his club, one of his club meetings back in 2015 when he was president. Since 1986, Doug has worked at Kyocera Document Solutions in Santa Rosa, which provides the latest in business technology. And Doug will continue to work there full time, even as district governor, which I think now with virtual meetings, I guess this has gotten a lot easier, and it's not going to put as many miles as Erin did in her district governor year. So besides his involvement, extensive involvement with Rotary, Doug is also active in his church as their treasurer, and he loves sports and to travel. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our District Governor, Doug Johnson, to the Fortuna Sunrise Rotary Club.
Thank you, Frank. Well, good morning, everyone. Yes, it is virtual, but look at the bright side. I avoided the accident on 101. Yeah, unfortunately, this year, all the visits through the end of December are virtual. And that's, you know, it's sad, and Erin will probably tell you that one of the joys of a district governor is getting out and meeting the clubs and the people. Every club is uniquely different. The people are different. They have stories to tell. So I'm hoping in the springtime, if things can open up, I can circle back and meet with you at a fundraiser or hands-on project or something. So we'll see. As Frank mentioned, I did meet with the board last night, and you have a great board. It's good to see that, you know, clubs, when they have strong leadership, you know the clubs are on a solid basis. We had a good meeting. It was nice to hear about the things you're doing and the plans you have going. So, you know, make sure you say thank you to a board member this week, because they are putting in some good hours for you. This morning, I want to start going back to January of 2020. So that would be, what, 9 months ago now. And in January was the last formal training event that I had to go through, a district governor-elect goes through, and it's called International Assembly. And if you speak with a district governor or past district governor, they'll tell you that International Assembly is probably one of the high points of the journey. That is where every incoming district governor-elect from the whole world is required to attend for the week. This week happened to be in San Diego. So there were about 538 of us from over 200 countries around the world. And it's just a wonderful time of getting to know Rotarians and their cultures from other parts of the world, where you can talk to them. And what is Rotary like in Asia? Or what is Rotary like in Africa or Europe? And you find things that are similar and the things that are different. And there are great social times, lots of fun social times. And then there's also large general session times. And that's how we opened up Monday morning of that week, in general session in a ballroom, about 1,200 of us. So that was the district governor-elects and their partners and other dignitaries. And the morning started with Mark Maloney opening, and he was last year's Rotary International president. And he gave a few words of welcome in a short talk. And then after Mark was Holger Kanak. Holger is this year's Rotary International president. And he as well welcomed us and spoke a bit about Rotary and where it's going. And actually that, I should say that Holger's time is a really, really important time, because that's when they introduced the theme for the year. It's been kept secret from everybody except the people that make the merchandise. And everyone's waiting to see what this theme is going to be. And it's much like the Oscars where there's a movie, the movie of the year, and somebody's walking up to the podium with an envelope, a sealed envelope, to tell you what the movie for the year is. And across all these big screens is the message in the logo of Rotary Opens Opportunities. And everyone, 1,200 people in the room are cheering and clapping. It's a really uplifting time. I thought the theme was great. Opportunities is such a positive word. We could do so many things with it. We even speak of America being the land of opportunity. So Holger finished, and following Holger was John Huco. John is the Secretary General of Rotary. Some would say the most powerful person because presidents come and go, but John stays there in Evanston guiding the ship. And again, he spoke. And as I was sitting there that morning, I started noticing a theme. They were using certain words, all in a consistent message. And being the great student that I am, I started taking copious notes on the back of a business card. And that morning, this is what I heard. Action, adapt, relevant, nimble, evolve, change, innovative, embrace change, modernizing, keep current, inventive, and flexible. So that was the message Rotary was intentionally sending to us 2 months pre-COVID. And Rotary knew they were at a crossroads of change. In fact, when I spoke to some after the fact, they admitted they were behind. They did not know, they did not see how fast things were changing on them, and they got caught a little bit of sleep on this one. So change is an interesting concept. We excuse me, we often resist it, but you can also use it to your advantage. I think of my kids. I have 3 in their 30s, and I realized along the way that if I wanted to get a hold of one of them, that I couldn't call because I'd end up having to leave a message, and maybe in a couple of days they'd call me back. Email wasn't going to work. That's outdated. But if I sent them a text, I would get an instant answer right back. So that's just like a simple example of me learning that I had to adapt to a younger generation to be relevant. They don't have to adapt to me. I have to adapt to them. That's the way the rules of the game go. As we get older, we have to learn to adapt and change to be relevant to the next generation coming behind us. Small but simple example. Well, anyway, I leave San Diego and head home, and all excited. It was a great week. I'm ready to go. We come into March. We hit mid-March. COVID shuts everything down. So overnight, Rotary, as we knew it, stopped. Your in-person club meetings stopped. Your involvement with youth student exchange stopped. Interact clubs had to either stop or really change the format. Fundraising, lots of clubs had big plans for fundraising, stopped. Social events, everything Rotary as we knew it was taken away from us overnight. So it got me to asking, okay, well, what's Rotary then? What has to be present for it to be Rotary? And I thought for a little bit, and I came back to our core values. We don't talk about our core values much, but Rotary has core values. Much like we have the 4-way test, we have the 5 avenues of service, we have the 6, now 7 areas of focus for global grants. We have 5 core values. And they are fellowship, integrity, diversity, leadership, and service. So that's what makes Rotary Rotary. If you take those away, we're no longer Rotary. We're maybe a nice group of people getting together for breakfast. We're a book club. I don't know, but we're not Rotary. So the question becomes, how do you express your core values in a shelter-in-place world when we can't do things the way we normally did them? The first thing I wanted to do is commend you that you did adapt right off the bat. Here we are on a Zoom call. It's a form of adapting. There were probably some on this call that if I told them back in January, hey, guess what? You're going to learn, online teleconferencing, you'd be, nope, no way, I have no interest in it. And look at, here you are, you've effectively managed to make that change. You know, if there's one thing this morning that you do take away, I hope it's this one, is that you need to stay close together. You know, Fortuna Sunrise is a family. You need each other right now. If you don't see somebody for a week or two on these calls, pick up the phone and give them a call or write them a letter, whatever it takes. We're in a time right now where there is no right or wrong answer to this COVID, in my opinion. It's a personal decision for everybody. Some people are very comfortable going out to dinner in an outdoor dining place. Some people are not comfortable going to the supermarket at all. Some people have pre-existing health conditions. Others are young and healthy and don't. And so there's no right or wrong. We have to respect everyone's opinion, but we need to stick together. Because I'm going to make the point to you that Rotary is more relevant than ever and more needed than ever. You know, Fortuna Sunrise is more needed by the town than ever before. We're in some very challenging and turbulent times. We have a pandemic on one side and wildfires and smoke on the other. And swirling all around us is a lot of emotional discourse, not taking sides at all on what's going on politically or socially. There's just a lot of people yelling at each other. There's a lot of angst built up. And in the middle of it, people looking for meaning and value. They're questioning things. And guess what? We have 5 core values. We know who we are. You know, it's in our DNA to serve the community, much like Simon's message from Martin Luther King Jr. You know, that's who we are. We know what Fortuna needs. You've been doing it, so keep on doing it and stick together as a family, and we will get through this. We'll actually be better when we get out of it the other side. We'll have learned new skills and tools to use. But it's really important right now that you keep in touch with each other. When I was thinking about adapting and change, I was thinking of 2 quotes from Darwin. You know, the first one, in the long history of humankind, those who learn to collaborate and improvise most effectively have prevailed. Collaborate and improvise, 2 things Rotarians do really well. You know, one of your major projects you do, I guess it's 5 times a year, is the flags out on Main Street. And you collaborate with the Lions and the Sir Optimist and the Noon Club to do it. You know, you collaborate with the Food for People program to get backpacks out to kids. And so you already are collaborating. It's a great time to, again, we have the core values. People are looking for people like us to help our communities. So collaboration is a great concept. The second one, it is not the strongest of the species that survives, not the most intelligent. It is the one that is most adaptable to change. So that word again, adapt. You know, your backpack program, you had to adapt how you did it. You know, you moved to the community center. And now then you get the backpacks to the schools in a different manner. Same program, you're doing the same good, you just adapted it into a different version. You know, for fundraising, okay, we're not having a seafood boil this year. We're gonna have, you know, purple flamingos. People are gonna have to pay to get those things out of their yard. You know, but you're adapting, you're figuring out something new. You know, so keep it up. It's really important to keep up. You know, another thought that comes to mind is the Apollo 13 mission to the moon. The ill-fated mission didn't make it there and almost didn't make it back. There was a scene in the movie where the capsule's up there and they're communicating with ground control and it's just total chaos. Everything is going wrong. You know, you hear all these different voices, you know, and it's like, this isn't working and that's not working. This is broken. Nothing's right. And then finally, there was one voice, I think it was the ground control commander, kind of cuts through the whole thing and says, stop. Don't tell me what isn't working. Tell me what is working. So there's all of a sudden this paradigm shift occurred. Let's start with talking about what is working. Now let's build up from there. And I think in a sense, that's where we are too, because we can sit here all day long and bemoan that we can't do the things we used to do the way we used to do them. And I don't know if this is going to be over next month, next year, 2 years. No one knows. So we have to continue to move on. So we have to talk about what can we do? How can we be Rotarians in Fortuna under these circumstances? How can we exercise our core values? How can we as a club stick together? Those are the questions that we really need to be asking, and that does evolve. That does mean evolving and adapting and changing, embracing new ideas and new concepts. So I would strongly urge you to be very willing to listen to the voices in the club that says, hey, I have an idea, let's talk about it. At this point in time, I think all ideas should be on the table that let's walk through them and see if we can make it work. So definitely, be open to new ways of doing things. I'm going to shift a little bit to more district housekeeping things. First off is you should have received an invite from Kathy Flamson to her virtual district conference on October 24th. I really encourage you to attend. It's free. The conference part, I believe, is only about an hour. And it would mean a lot to Kathy, much like when I talked about us all having things taken away. Well, Kathy's year was, truncated in March, and she had plans for district conference, and she had plans for awards, and she had plans to go to Hawaii, and it was all taken away. So let's try and show up for that hour and really support her if we can. You also, if you'd watched the district governor message, you would have seen an ad for Zone Institute. Excuse me. For background, for those who may not know what a zone is, clubs get organized into districts. So our 47 clubs, our District 5130 goes from Petaluma to the Oregon border. Districts get organized into zones. To get the idea of the size of a zone, there are only 34 in the world. So the whole world of Rotary is divided into 34 zones. For governance, they pair up zones by twos. We're zone 27. They pair us up with zone 26, which is south of us. And together we form what's called the Big West. That's all of Rotary west of Colorado in the United States and British Columbia. So Zone Institute is like a mini Rotary International Convention. It's all those clubs coming together. Historically, it's only been open to past district governors and those on the district governor journey and a select invited guests. But it is online this year. It is open to all Rotarians. It's 3 days. It's only $49 for the whole show. Really top-end speakers, breakout sessions on many topics of interest, whether it's diversity, equity, inclusion, whether it's Rotaract, whether it's starting a new club, whether it's how to fundraise in a virtual world. I mean, all sorts of topics. So you can register on the Zone website, which is zone2627.org, zone2627.org. Highly encourage you to do that if you can, and you don't have to sit there for 3 days. You can, bop in and out as you please. A district is always looking for people that would love to join the team and get involved with Rotary at a little bigger level. We have many committees, just like a club. The commitment to a district committee is usually far less than what a club committee would be. But some examples are public image, membership, leadership, ethics. The ethics is a new one, and I want to share a little bit about that. This year, I'm promoting ethics in business. And the why is because I believe that it matches very well our value add to why someone would want to join Rotary. We have the 4-way test. We have integrity as one of our core values. We have the object of Rotary. Rotary began as an ethical networking entity in 1905. So it is part of who and what we are, and we've kind of drifted away a little bit from talking about vocation, I think, as much as we should. But if you're a younger person in Fortuna coming up in business, where else would you want to be than in a group like this with ethical business people and the ability to sit in a room for breakfast when we can again, with Rotarians that have run companies in town, or nonprofits or whatever it is, and be able to talk to someone and get advice from an ethical business person. To me, that's a great value add for why somebody would want to join Rotary. So the district conference for my year is going to be October 8 and 9 of 2021. So basically just a year from now, October 8 and 9 of 2021. It'll be at the DoubleTree Hotel in Rohnert Park. I want to bring one back to our district to make it easier for people to go and not cost as much. We are starting an ethics in business initiative. That website will be up and running very soon. where people can go on and nominate a business, any business, as an ethical business. Does not have to be a Rotarian's business. We'll collect all those over time, and somewhere in the spring to summer, close nominations. A committee will circle back and interview those people a little more. Winners will be chosen and awards will be given out, excuse me, Friday, October 8th at a luncheon, an ethics and business seminar open to everyone, Rotarians and the general public. I'm hoping that it will again showcase who and what we are, and we might even get some membership interest from those that really enjoy the concept of let's talk about ethics and business in this world today. Another opportunity we have is a leadership academy. There's only a couple of days left before I close the application process, but it is open to anyone that's really interested in learning more about Rotary in depth. It's a 6-month program, self-paced study at home with instructors leading you. It's probably about a 2-hour-a-week commitment, one topic a month. It changes each month. You'll really get an in-depth understanding of Rotary, whether it's foundation, public image, membership. There are 5, 6 different topics here covered. So that is free this year. Normally there is a cost, but we're doing it free this year. And you can go to academy5130.org, academy5130.org. All the information is there, registration packet, everything. So I'm really hoping that turns out good. We have about 20 people so far signed up, and my goal was to get to 30. Let's see. The last one I want to share with you on is foundation. Each year, district governors give a list of goals to club presidents. And if they do really well, they get a nice certificate at the end of the year that said they did really well. Well, I'm the vice president of sales for a company, so this year we're playing for money. And that is that the clubs that do well will get extra district grant money next year. There are 5 questions: membership, community engagement, public image, leadership. Those are qualitative. You're gonna have to write an essay question addressing how you did what was required. But the 5th one is foundation, and it's quantitative. So for background, the Rotary Foundation is the engine that funds all the good we do. It funds the global grants, district grants, Peace Fellow program, scholarship program, some goes to polio. It has been going down in value year over year. My belief is that there was a day and time when Rotary was strictly open to business owners or higher level managers. Heavy hitters had no problem writing big checks. Well, we've changed. We're a more diversified organization, and that's for the better. We're a stronger, better organization. But with it, there's a lot of people that just can't pull out their checkbook and write a $500 or $1,000 check on the spot. So the goal I have is to build a broader base at a much lower level, people giving $20, $25, $30 a month, whatever it is, to make up for the smaller base giving more. On the Rotary website, there is the opportunity to do Rotary direct giving. We already do it with things like a cell phone bill or a satellite TV bill or other things, or if you do a World Vision student, you may do it already, on and on. There's a lot of entities do this. So you go on to My Rotary, and when you get right onto the homepage, right at the top is a button called Donate. Click on Donate. Scroll down a little bit. You should be on the annual fund by default. That's the Rotary Foundation annual fund. Choose recurring. Then choose whether you want it to be monthly or quarterly. Put in your credit card number and the amount that you're committing to, and away you go. The contest is for the clubs that have the highest percentage of members on Rotary Direct Giving, at least $20 a month or more by the end of this Rotary year, June 30th. They'll get extra district grant money. I don't think $20 a month is an unreasonable ask for the foundation that supports all the work we do. It really is what we believe in. So I think it's a reasonable request. It is tax deductible. If you do $85 a month, you'd be in the Paul Harris Society. That means it's $1,000 a year you've committed to, and then every year you'd be honoring a family member, friend, community member with a Paul Harris Award. But that's your choice there. But $20 a month, I think, is a reasonable goal to set. The other thing I want to share with you is my vision of Rotary's governance in my role. Rotary is a member club level organization on up. So that means that all the work that really gets done is by the members. All the money that gets donated is by the members. You know, the members are the most important people in this equation. You're doing all the heavy lifting. So that means I, as district governor, am the least important person in this equation. For 1 year, I have the privilege of serving and supporting you in any way I can. You know, I am in DAC-DB. You will find my home phone, my address, my cell phone. You can email me, you can text me. I am responsive. If there's anything I can do to help make your Rotary year experience a better one, I would love to hear from you. As I mentioned, I am a vice president of sales, so I always have to have these pithy quotes from my sales team. And I will leave you with one. When going through hell, don't stop. That's what it feels like right now. But like I said, if we stick together, if you keep serving Fortuna because you're needed and more relevant now than ever, we will get through this. We will be better. You know, so keep going, keep your chin up, keep your feet moving, keep your hands doing stuff, and we will be Rotarians and we will get through this together. We're people of action. So thank you very much for the time this morning, and I'm open to questions.
Hi, Doug. Ross here.
Oh, no, but not you, Ross.
Would you be willing to come up and spell me for a few hours wearing the pink flamingo costume for World Polio Day? No, my bigger question is, what have you seen with clubs and fundraising this year through your visits?
Okay, good question. I'm going to answer that in a couple ways. And by the way, if you rock it in the pink flamingo, then you're automatically the Easter Bunny too. So this could be you could be really roped into something here. Okay, first I want to send you back to that zone website, zone2627.org. And the reason is when you land on that website, one of the tabs at the top is library, virtual library. And what the zone we're trying to do is gather information from the whole Big West on things that are working, good ideas. So when you go into that library, there are folders, and one of them is virtual fundraising. There's a folder on diversity, equity, inclusion. There's a folder on membership, and on and on. So in that folder, you will find some ideas. Now, this is kind of like one of those like book libraries you have in front of your home where you can take a book, give a book. So feel free to go there and take ideas, but also if you have any good ideas, submit them. That's how we're trying to gather information to share with everyone. So that's the first thing I would say. What I'm hearing from other clubs, so obviously online is a big one in doing online fundraisers or auctions. Arcata Sunrise was one of the very first ones. They did an online garage sale. So people, much like a real garage sale, you know, if you have a kayak in your garage you want to get rid of, an old bike or generator or whatever, they had all these items gathered together and they did a virtual garage sale. And that was right off in July, I think. So that was one example. Santa Rosa East did an online fundraiser. Now their fundraiser was Luck of the Irish in the second half of March. And it was the week before they had to cancel it. So they had the benefit of, they had already accumulated a lot of the silent auction items and they had them stored somewhere. So they moved it to September and they did an online Hawaiian themed fundraiser over a weekend of 3 days. So you could log in silent auction, bid anytime during that. And they also had a paddle raise at one point in time to raise money for their supported charity. So that they did that online. One club, a couple of clubs have done golf tournaments. And there was one that did it in an interesting way, a little different than what we would think, is that you go out and golf and then you post your score. Now this is four-way test, Ross, so you can't kick the ball down the fairway. But so you just go golfing on your own or with your friend, and when you're done, you post in your score. And it was over the course of a month, I think, or maybe even 6 weeks. they were gathering all the scores together, but that was their golf tournament. So it was just a different, interesting approach. Let's see. Raffles, some clubs are going straight, show me the cash, doing a raffle. You have to make sure that you check in with any online raffle laws that exist. I mean, for example, Napa, they always have a wine at their auctions. Well, you can't really just ship wine, raffle and ship wine any way you want. That's a controlled substance. That was another one, just straight raffles. Let's see. You know what, Ross? I'll go through my notes and see if I can think of some others. I mean, I'll tell you candidly, clubs are struggling with fundraising, and they're struggling with how do we attract new members. And what I would say, the fundraising part is that maybe you're not going to, let's say the reality is we're not going to have the same funds as we had. So now the question becomes is, okay, what projects can we do that don't take the money that we used to have? They may be more hands-on and labor-oriented. So like one club was doing a Highway 101 cleanup, social distance, that was the Healdsburg Club, and they're out there doing that. Another club was doing a river cleanup, and you've got the ocean up there. So outdoor ones are really popular. When we approved the district grants, there were a lot of district grants for what I would call beautification, whether it be a school or a park or things like that, where you can do the labor outside, painting, benches, whatever it is, but the material cost is low compared to the labor cost.
And it gets your club together and active and doing things in the community.
Yes.
Doug, what was the email address or the website for the monthly giving for foundation?
So if you go to rotary.org, that's the parent website, rotary.org, rotary.org.
Right.
If you've never been there before, for the very first time, they're going to ask you to sign in. And your sign in is your email address that Rotary has on file for you. That's your username. And your password by default is your member number. You can change that once you're in. Once you've signed in, it's no longer called rotary.org. Technically, it's called My Rotary because it's personalized. It's going to say, hey, Steve, how you doing today? I mean, he knows who you are. Down in the lower corner, we'll have the club that you belong to. You can check the status of your Paul Harris giving for your whole lifetime. It's there, things like that. But there's a wealth of information of all sorts there. And then one of the things is Rotary Direct Giving.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
And Steve, I can help you through all that if you struggle.
Oh, my granddaughter can do it too, so.
Better.
Yeah. Yeah, see, we humans, what separates us from the other animals is opposable thumbs. It's like grandkids have 10 opposable thumbs.
Any other questions for our district governor?
One question from me. Doug, can you go recite what the 5 Rotary core values are again? I got fellowship, integrity, diversity.
Leadership and service.
Leadership and service. Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Doug, I had a question. I know that you come from a club that's, probably about 3 times as big as ours. What's the biggest challenge that you guys are seeing in your club during these times? I mean, I've been to one of your club meetings, and it's kind of like a hall and a big, hotel and, big lunch and, a lot of speakers and stuff like that. What are you seeing the main challenge right now, since I'm guessing it's still by Zoom right now, right? So what are you getting from your members for a club that large?
Okay, so for background, our district year over year for the last, 5, 6, 7 years has been gradually losing a few members every year. Enough so that we were a little concerned. It's like you lose 10 or 15 or 20 each year, and it adds up, Bob Spangler's year, I think we lost 8. Last year for Kathy's year, going into March, we were +7 for the year. Now, it's common to have a little bit of a drop at the end of the year because that's when clubs clean up their rosters. But when we got to June 30th, the district was down 89 members for the year. That's the biggest drop that I know of. That's like a 4% drop. I'm not going to say all of it is COVID related, but I'm sure a chunk of it is. You know, my home club was one of them. So 2015, 16, I was club president. We went from 109 to 115 members. And then we drifted down a few, but last year our club lost maybe 15 members. So we're down to, I think, 89. So, you know, again, that's a sizable drop. And I think our club is one of those clubs that Rotary was talking to back in January, that we weren't evolving, we weren't changing. You know, we were an aging club. When you look at the demographics of Rotary, you know, our club definitely fit in where, you know, you had as many members in the 80s as you did in the 30s, and as in the 70s as you did in the 40s. And, you know, so started looking at the average age of, you know, 55 or something. So our club is definitely an aging club, and so that's a concern I have. I do try to stay out of club business as much as I can right now, because I don't think a club needs a district governor trying to tell them what to do. So I do stay out of it, but we're trying to find new ways to attract new members. We have one that we just brought in, and she was a Rotaractor from Sonoma State, and she is a single mom in her 20s, Black American. So I talked to the club leadership offline, and I said, hey, why don't we talk to her? And actually, I should take it back. I first talked to her after a Zoom meeting. You know, I texted her, chatted in the meeting personally. Hey, can I talk to you after the meeting? And we talked. And I said, you know, being a trailblazer is not an easy path in life. You're often not even welcome in your own time. You know, you carry an extra burden, and you're, you know, early 20s single Black mom in an old man's white club. You know, you're really, you know, you're on a tough road here. But what if you were to invite 5 or 6 or 7 of your friends to join the club? And so she was interested. Okay, well, maybe I'll take that challenge. And then that's when I called Jeff, our current president. I said, Jeff, you know, this would radically change the culture of our club. You know, if all of a sudden we had 6 or 7 20-year-old Black students from Santa Rosa JC in our club, enough that they formed a nucleus to stick together, this would radically change our club. How would the members go for it? Because my pitch was that people like me would underwrite their costs for a year or two to get them into the club and get them going. You know, you know, I'll pay a couple $100 to get a younger Rotarian and see how it goes. So that is still in the works. But I think we're at a time that needs creative thinking. I have an idea that I'm going to be running by Jorita Solari, who's our zone director. She's now vice president of Rotary, because it's against all the bylaws, but that has never stopped me before. Smaller clubs, I was talking to one, and there are a couple of clubs that are looking to come together. And part of it is that they don't have enough people in their club to fill all the committee positions. So it ends up with a few people doing all the work and getting shuffled around the committees. So I'm sitting there thinking, like, well, what if, and I'll just make this up, this hypothetical. What if Fortuna and Fortuna Sunrise and Ferndale, can you all close? What if you said, hey, how about the 3 of us, we'll have one foundation chair that serves all 3 clubs. We'll have one vocation chair that serves all 3 clubs, and you divvy up the leadership. Instead of having 3 foundation chairs for 3 clubs that aren't that big, 3 vocation chairs, and so on and so forth. Now, technically speaking, that does not meet Rotary bylaws. But I think we're in a time where we have to really be creative in our thinking, and we have to come up with new ways to make Rotary work. So I'm going to actually fire that one off to Jorita and see what she says. I don't know if I would want to give up a membership chair if I was a club, because that is important. But I think there are some avenues of service that could be shared between clubs in a community. Again, that collaboration word.
Excellent. Thanks, Doug.
A quick question, Doug. What brought you from Dedham, Mass to Santa Rosa at 21?
So I went to college down in Washington, D.C., American University. The real short version is I met a lady. So every story begins with I met a lady, right? Either that I was in a bar. It starts one of the two. So I met a lady. She ended up in California. I ended up moving out. We got married. I had 3 kids. Later got divorced. I'm here, the 3 kids and my 4 grandkids.
Ah, cool.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Doug, for joining us. I know in tradition, the presidents would typically give a gift to the district governor on their visit to the club meeting. So I thought I'd share something with you, a little gift, if you will. So one of the things I've been doing as a president is featuring the club members and doing little pictorials of them. And during PETS this year, I did sketches of all the speakers that I saw, and I did one of you. So here's my sketch of our district governor from PETS. Hey, look at that. I think you were speaking or something at this moment in time.
Yes, it does look like it. My mouth's open. Either speaking or eating.
I think you were engaging us in a verbose lecture about how awesome Rotary is. So thanks so much, Doug, for joining us this morning. Any final questions for our district governor this morning? All right. Well, with that, I think I'll ding the bell and let us get on our ways this morning. But everybody have a marvelous Rotary Day. Thank you, District Governor Doug Johnson. Yeah, if you can see everybody in the videos, they're applauding loudly. It's just quiet because they're all muted. Anyway, have a marvelous day, everybody. Thank you so much. This club meeting is adjourned.
Thanks, Doug.